What if you survived countless deadly games, watched your friends die, uncovered a terrifying conspiracy, and then discovered that the nightmare was far from over? This is the story of Alice in Borderland Season 2. At the end of Season 1, Arisu and the remaining survivors believed they had finally defeated the Game Masters. For a brief moment, it seemed like their suffering was over. But then, a mysterious woman named Mira appeared on giant screens across the city and revealed a shocking truth. Everything they had experienced so far was only the first stage. The real games were about to begin. The face card games. Unlike the numbered card challenges, these games were controlled by powerful and highly skilled individuals known as the citizens of Borderland. Each citizen represented a face card and possessed extraordinary abilities. To escape Borderland, every face card had to be defeated. With no other choice, Arisu, Usagi, Quina, Chishiya, and the remaining survivors prepared for an even deadlier battle. The first major challenge involved the King of Clubs, one of the strongest and most respected citizens in Borderland. Unlike most enemies, the King of Clubs believed in teamwork and honor. His game forced players to compete in a brutal point-based battle across a massive arena. The challenge tested intelligence, strategy, endurance, and cooperation. Throughout the game, many players were eliminated, but Arisu and his allies managed to work together and eventually defeat the King of Clubs. Even in defeat, the king accepted his fate with dignity, proving that not every citizen was a monster. Meanwhile, another terrifying challenge unfolded involving the King of Spades. Unlike other game masters, the King of Spades hunted players across the entire city. Armed with military weapons and unmatched combat skills, he turned Borderland into a war zone. No one was safe. Survivors were forced to constantly run for their lives while searching for a way to stop him. Every appearance of the King of Spades resulted in chaos, destruction, and countless deaths. As the season continued, Chishiya found himself participating in one of the most intellectually challenging games in Borderland history. The King of Diamonds game tested logic, mathematics, and psychological manipulation. Players were forced to outsmart each other while making impossible decisions. Chishiya used his intelligence to survive round after round until he finally confronted the king himself. In a tense battle of minds, Chishiya managed to outplay the King of Diamonds and secure victory. The experience forced him to confront his own selfish nature and begin changing as a person. At the same time, Quina faced the Queen of Spades in a physically demanding challenge that pushed her to her absolute limits. Through determination, courage, and teamwork, Quina managed to overcome the obstacles and defeat another face card citizen. Slowly but surely, the survivors began clearing the deck. However, the most important challenge still remained: the Queen of Hearts, Mira. Unlike the other citizens, Mira did not rely on physical strength or complicated rules. Her weapon was the human mind. She understood that psychological manipulation could be more powerful than any weapon. When Arisu and Usagi finally reached her, they expected a deadly battle. Instead, Mira trapped them in a psychological nightmare. She repeatedly lied to Arisu about the nature of Borderland, creating fake explanations and alternate realities. She claimed that aliens had created the games. Then she claimed it was a virtual reality simulation. Then she suggested everything was a psychiatric experiment. Each explanation sounded believable, causing Arisu to question everything he thought he knew. Slowly, Mira's manipulation began breaking Arisu's mind. He lost confidence in himself, his memories, and even reality itself. For a moment, it seemed as though Mira had won. But Usagi refused to let Arisu give up. She reminded him of everything they had survived together. She reminded him that reality was not defined by fear or confusion. Her words helped Arisu regain control of his mind and finally reject Mira's manipulation. With Mira defeated, the Queen of Hearts game came to an end, and for the first time, every face card had been cleared. The survivors gathered together as Borderland prepared to reveal its final secret. Suddenly, they were given a choice. They could remain in Borderland forever and become permanent citizens, or they could return to the real world. Most of the survivors chose to leave. Moments later, the truth behind Borderland was finally revealed. A massive meteorite had struck Tokyo. The explosion caused countless deaths and left many people suspended between life and death. Borderland was never another planet, another dimension, or a simulation. It was a limbo-like world that existed between life and death.